Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's edition of the Maconi Setup Shop AFX Tutorials. This week we are looking at the Atlanta Motor Super Speedway, so strap in and let's get to it. As always with these Super Speedway videos, there's not really a whole lot to get into, so we just try to focus on qualifying because there's no way to predict the race. I would imagine this race is going to be incredibly wild, as it always is. Qualifying here, as you can see the times on the left, this run here I did in 5th gear, and the second run I did in 4th gear. 4th gear was significantly faster at Daytona, and I wasn't sure how it would be here. Considering it's so much smaller, I wasn't really sure what the gearing would be like, but it's very, very similar. You'll see when I switch to the in-car for the 4th gear run, still hitting that 86, 8700 RPM range like we were at Daytona, and still hitting that 77 to 7800 range RPM in 5th gear. So it's a little odd. It's kind of surprising that it turns so much horsepower uh, with this taller gear here. Um, but it's just kind of the way it is. Again, unless something's really changed, that 82 to 8400 range used to be where you get your most power, and then after that you're kind of just flatlining. And then before we got this update, 5th gear, even though we would still be around that 78, 7900 RPM range, it was closer to that power band than 4th gear was, so you were getting that extra speed in 5th gear, and now that seems to have changed. Very similar to Daytona, though. The first lap, leaving the pits, is like a warm-up lap with this 2 laps of qualifying. Um, Really, it's so much nicer to take that warm up lap and have that extra speed and trade it for tire temp. I tried doing laps where I would just dig out of pit road, especially since here at Atlanta, the apron, that first lane, you could hold it wide open. Um, and then I went out and did this creep, and I was significantly faster. I think the first time I did it, I was a 43 was my best, just straight hot lapping. And then when I was doing the creep, I went from a 42 to a 39. So definitely faster. For the sake of this, I'll just, I'll demonstrate. I'm just going to go back and show you, nothing crazy. We're just trying to keep the tire temp down, and this is how we're going to set up our lap. So coming to the green, again, I'd like to use as much racetrack as I can without getting that wall proximity. So this is just, you know, building as much momentum as you possibly can without getting too close to the wall and hurting yourself. Um, there's really not much to it. We talk about it so much in all the other Super Speedway videos. You're just trying to keep the wheel as straight as possible. Um, Again, I'm faster drifting out a little bit into the second lane than I am just wrapping. I find with wrapping, I just scrub too much speed trying to force the car down. Um, yeah, here we go. Smooth lap around Atlanta. Okay, guys. Two things I wanted to go over real quick. First, when you come to start your lap here, you're on the racetrack. That first section of the dogleg that you come to, I don't recommend cutting it any more than what I did. If you do, you run the risk of hitting all those bumps, and it's very bumpy down there, especially around that second lane. And when you hit those bumps, it really does scrub a lot of speed off. The run I did in the session before this, just to demonstrate it, or at least have an understanding of it, I went out and ran the same thing. I hit a 934 the lap before, and then I cut down to that second lane and hit a bunch of bumps. And it hurt my lap so bad that I ended up coming back around and hitting like a 41. Okay, and when you're qualifying at a place like this, you're trying to get every thousandth that you can, right? Because everybody's going to be so close. The wind is going to dictate a lot of it, which again, a lot of this is just RNG, right? I'm just trying to show you guys the best optimal line and gear and everything else to do so that when you do get into the server and you put down a qualifying lap, you're giving yourself the best opportunity, and then you're just leaving it up to wind, right? Somebody's either going to get a good tailwind or a lot less headwind than you are, and it's really going to dictate a lap. This is just to give you guys the best opportunity possible. The other thing, too, for the race, it's very important to know that it is new. If you are going to enter the pits, it looks like at any time, okay, whether it's caution or under green, you have to enter here on the back straightaway. Okay, very important. If you go around this and you try to pit off of turn 4, you're going to get black flagged. Okay, in the testing, it never gave me a pit speed to hold. Okay, so I'm gonna guess you cannot pass this white line once you're down here. Otherwise, you get an unsafe pit entry. So whatever speed you can hold without crossing this white line, I think is going to be okay. And then by the time you get around to pit road, you got to slow it down to that 45 miles an hour. In the race, it might give you a pit speed, but I'm not sure if iRacing has it coded to where it's going to change pit road speed where you're at. But I do believe that you cannot pass this white line. Okay, just wanted to make you guys aware of that. As always, if you find that this video was helpful, please consider leaving a like. Any questions, comments, concerns, or anything you want to discuss with the qualifying or whatever, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Hard to tell how this is going to race given how Daytona was with the weekend draft. I'm sure side drafting is going to be unbelievable here with how close and how tight everybody's going to be, so it'll be interesting. Hopefully you guys can avoid the big wrecks and have a good week. Lastly, as always, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can see these videos every Monday when they're posted on the Maconi YouTube page. Okay, best of luck this week, guys, and we'll see you on the track.